So proud to be here right now, and to be an American, and to stand amongst all of you as you wish me well on this journey for this congressional district. Before I begin with some brief remarks, let me just say a few words about my good friend, the Governor Strickland. There are a few people who step forward in life who mean a lot to you and mentor you throughout this process. And I've been lucky that throughout various distinctions in my life, I've had people who stepped forward and mentored me. And I can think of no finer individual than the governor of this state, Ted Strickland, who has mentored me and given me the attitudes, values, and beliefs that I think I would carry to the Congress of the United States. And to my friend Rich Cordray, who I served with and tried to match his intelligence, but came up short so frequently. It's an honor that you were here with us today, and those words are very sincere and well-meaning. And to straighten out the good chairman, I did lead the country in stolen bases. I think it was he and Rich who said this. But I rarely bring that up now as a politician because I don't like to talk about stealing anything. I remember on my first deployment into the Iraq war zone, our first mission, and the dangers that were inherent in each mission, and returning home after some of the shots that had been fired and the explosions I had seen. I remember taking a knee after I dropped my helmet bag and walking in my barracks. And I took a knee and I said, boy, I hope I make it home. At that moment I said a prayer, and I said, I hope what we're doing is worth fighting for. And I hope that this process and this government and our way of life here in America is all worth it. Worth my life, worth the lives of those young men and women, those injured, and those who had not made it back to their families, was all worth it. And I can tell you today with a sincere conviction, with all of you that have come forward to express your support, that it is worth it. And it is worth us stepping forward to serve this great process, this nation, this government that we hold so dear, because it only takes one trip outside the borders of this country to understand how good we have it here. And it is worth fighting for. I stand here with my young family and my mom and dad, and I remember as a young boy saying to me, to whom much is given, much is expected. And I've taken those words to heart more than ever. And the pride that I have in this country and our way of life, and them telling me our family story, has motivated me to run for this office. My family, like yours, is fitted with something special. It's a spirit about us, an American spirit. My grandparents immigrated to this country a century ago with the clothes on their back and the foods in their coats. And they came here with a promise that if you worked hard, you persevered, and you climbed up that ladder, that you could live a little bit of better life than they had lived over in Europe. And today I stand before you telling you that my parents were one of the first in their generation to go to college. And they have seen their 3 boys grow up and do things that they probably never dreamed of. But my family story and that American spirit that is in each one of our own families is in jeopardy, folks. And I've grown concerned that our family story and the hope and the promise that is America is being jeopardized by very bad decisions in Washington. I've grown concerned, like many Ohioans, that too many Americans, that we believe that this country is headed in the wrong direction. And I understand people's deep frustration that unfair trade agreements and the good jobs that we lose because of those unfair trade agreements are costing us here in Ohio and costing us the dream that my grandparents immigrated to this great country for. And I hear people who say that we're spending too much time abroad fighting a civil war in Iraq when we need to focus on the problems so much closer to home. This factory behind us represents policies of the past, decisions that have been made that have cost America a little bit of who we are, a little bit of our sovereignty. And I speak to ordinary people among us, like Kevin Allman, who his wife and his father worked at this factory right here. They have 3 small children. And the closing of these doors will mean the closing of opportunity for a young family. I speak to you about Rick Williams or Mike McNichol, who will also lose their jobs, who believe, like my grandparents did when they came here, that with a little bit of hard work and perseverance, that any dream can be realized.